Ladies and gentlemen, Fargo Nationals is upon us, and if you're sitting there asking, well, hang on, well, Sammy, what is Fargo Nationals, and what is the significance behind it? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. So, just to kind of connect the dots here, if you know it by a different name, Fargo Nationals is also USA Wrestling's national event for freestyle and Greco at the high school level, 16 and under, and juniors. So, you might see it be referred to as junior and 16 and under nationals, freestyle and Greco nationals, something like that. But colloquially, a lot of people, especially the kids that go to wrestle at it, are going to call it Fargo. And the reason behind that, we can kind of get into. The quick brief history: this event started in 1971 as junior nationals, so only 17, 18, and 19-year-olds in Iowa City, out in Iowa. And after rotating through a couple different places, different regions, it settled in Fargo, North Dakota in 1993, where it became the annual home of the tournament. So it's been there for over the last 30 years, and it's worked out. And I think there's a myriad of reasons behind that. It's at North Dakota State University on a football field where you can only the only type of place where you can host an event of this magnitude. It's on a campus where you have dorms, lots of housing, a cafeteria where you can have you can rapidly process feeding a lot of teenagers very quickly. So it's kind of a perfect storm in terms of location. Now, that's not to say that there aren't other ideal places, but it's just kind of worked out where Fargo is the place to be. So what is the significance behind this tournament, right? The biggest thing about it is the raw scale. I think what I heard about this year is that there are over 9,500 or around 9,500, maybe the number is 8,500, but somewhere around that number, that ballpark of total entries between women's, men's, freestyle, Greco, which freestyle or Greco is only for men, and then also beach wrestling, 16 and under, and juniors. Across all of those different divisions and styles, you have 9,500 total entries, which it came out to, I believe, about 5,500 total athletes wrestling. You might have a little smaller number than that, just because of people getting sick, not passing skin checks, injuries, not making weight. I can't actually remember if you're able to bump up or not, but there might be reasons why it might be just a little bit less. But still, 5,500, maybe even just 5,300, somewhere around that. That's a ridiculous number of people, and so that kind of explains why you need this set of wrestling mats that are just sprawled out on this massive space, this indoor football field area, wrestling going on from pretty early on in the morning until, there were some years where it was running pretty late at night. And it's a grueling tournament, especially the freestyle, men's freestyle division for cadets and juniors. It's 3 days. It is kind of it's probably the biggest test in terms of relation to the way that you will see NCAAs, the Division I NCAA wrestling championships go down. It's a 3-day event. It's grueling. You basically have to stay ready to wrestle the entire time. And Fargo really does that for you. And so you've seen some of the best in the country go out and wrestle at Fargo and win, Fargo stop signs, Fargo national titles. And, there's a lot of pedigree behind this event. Now, maybe it's sort of waned a little bit just because of the level of accomplishment that we're seeing high schoolers able to achieve these days. Obviously, it's only going to be high schoolers that are going out making cadet world teams and winning cadet world titles, but you also have some going out and making junior world teams and winning junior world titles. And then even with PJ Duke and maybe Jax Forrest winning senior world teams or making senior world teams. So even with that, college coaches highly value the Fargo Nationals, the experience of a wrestler in a bracket that is going to be, on the smaller end. Maybe there have been some years where you'll have like 32-man brackets, and those are the smallest brackets, which is, if you're thinking about the scale of it, that's pretty crazy. But you also have some brackets that are going to be 200 plus kids, and you're going to be wrestling, in the double digits of matches, which is, over a 3-day span, that's going to be a lot. And then if you tack on freestyle and Greco, it's going to be a long week for you, because it started today, and it's not going to end until next Saturday. So that's going to be 8 days. Now it's going to be some women, and then men's freestyle, beach wrestling, Greco, and then that's it. But I mean, that's a long time, especially for the coaches. As an indicator for how ready a high school athlete is to wrestle at the college Division I level, or even Division II or Division III in AIA JUCO, really just move on to the next step from high school to college. Fargo is a pretty standard indicator. It's a benchmark for what a high schooler is able to do at the next level. Are they able to keep their composure to wrestle with the same type of intensity, with the same type of acumen over a 3-day span? Are they able to make weight on day 1 and day 2 and have that same capability? Can they keep their body in tune? Can they avoid injury? Are they able to wrestle that many matches? All of these things start to come into play in terms of how a coach is going to evaluate what's happening. And yeah, it can be a great opportunity. And it's, high schoolers, just ask kids that go to Fargo. It's probably one of the more unique experiences out there in terms of, again, the raw scale and the way everything is happening. It's pretty incredible. And then you also, if you're Fargo national champion, you're a Division I level wrestler. Especially in freestyle, you're going to be seeing those guys starting at the Division I level, making the lineups of Big Ten teams and all of these types of things. So it's got a lot of prestige behind it, not just with the fact that it's a big tournament, but also has some pretty high quality. So Fargo's this awesome tournament. If you're considering tuning into watching Fargo and why that might be something that you should be interested in or why it would be important to you, especially if you're a college fan, I believe there's some fan guides out there in terms of if you have guys that are committed or some recruits that your school is targeting in terms of getting their commitment. There is going to be some guides out there for you. But Fargo's it's a big tournament. There's a lot of use behind the results of it to indicate who's going to be a contender at the Division I level or who we are going to see be able to wrestle and win national titles, world titles, Olympic titles, and all of that moving forward. So that is Fargo. That's what we are going to be seeing going down this next week between men, women, freestyle, Greco, wrestling, traditional, and beach wrestling. So it's an awesome event. I highly, 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 highly encourage you to go watch some of it. I know I will be, even though I've been outside of watching and knowing the ins and outs of the high school wrestling scene for a while, something I have to get back into. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. And yeah, that's it. So have a good one.